Full Sense, they're so tanky now, and they're just poking away for Blondie and co. They don't have a chance, and Austerity, he's at the brink of destruction here. All that's left are the last two turrets. They have to force the fight. Cataclysm forces them out of possession. Huge shockwave coming through. And Austerity, he's still standing in base, but he gets shut down. I don't think this is a Game 4 series, guys. We're going to game number 5. Welcome to Silver Scrapes.
13,000 gold lead, the biggest so far in this grand final. Full Sense with their comfort pick, with their outstanding and unexpected draft, finally showing up their identity, while Inferno Esports unfortunately cannot capitalize in the game 4. Right now it's just gonna be a best of 1 series with all the power pick has been taken out because of the fearless draft. And Full Sense just a masterclass in this game 4, Doc.
Now they have to reach into their bag of tricks now. This is their last chance to do it. Just put out all the stops. Everyone is now gone from the last 4 games. That's 40 champions gone here, Manamu. And for Full Sense, they were trying to counteract Austerity on the scary here, completely shutting him down by Blondie. 26k and 10k? My goodness, that is too much, man.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna pass this to Abigail and Contra to break down this early game masterclass from Full Sense. So Abigail and Contra, please take it away.
Thank you so much for our casters, Marable and also Dropout Kante. I mean, that was very, very amazing from Full Sense because they exactly knew what to do. They just need to crush the IE's carry.
Yeah, they did more than just that, they just basically shut down the jungle at the very same time. Overall, it makes it very overwhelming for Born This Way to be involved as a Jarvan when you have leakages over on top, mid, as well as bottom, because they've definitely found that perfect pick in this round. That Echo naturally counters that Orianna. There's not much that you can actually do about this lane, and then you set up that double dive together alongside with you over on top lane. The reason why they are willing to actually jump on an Ornn despite, him being a little bit beefy is because if you do shut down that Ornn, he gets to hit those levels a little bit later, so there's no rated items for that Aphelios if they manage to stabilize that. Is they didn't allow that to happen. All they really needed to do was to accelerate the game and make sure that, this snowball effect will continue on, and that's how they actually played it out. I mean, I definitely suspected that this Zed is going to go into the jungle once they do see that Orianna, because sure, it is very unfavorable pre-level 6, and what better way than to park it in the jungle where you can play a very high tempo game. So that Ezreal pick absolutely makes sense if they were to actually say, oh, we want to win that lane for Austerity. It is a lot harder to do when you're facing up against an Ezreal who can just try to dodge it, despite them getting that one catch in the early game.
Yup, FS didn't waste their early game tempo, but despite the upsets, IE still managed to push back towards the FS.
Now, when we take a look at how they've been able to really manage the entirety of the round, I mean, they knew exactly what to do. They just need to do one thing: win lane, win game. Very straightforward kind of strategy, although hard to execute, but it's all thanks to Fuse's proactive approach. Like, you saw those early game, he went in for a couple of invades, took a couple of camps off, and you think that, hey, maybe it doesn't matter all too much because it's a Jarvan, but hey, so long as they keep track of where the jungle is, he's not going to be able to really have a say on, calling for a team fight. You saw multiple attempts coming in from the side of Inferno trying to go for some of these picks, but it doesn't seem like they've been able to really get that done, because you take a look at all of their major core picks coming in for the side of Full Sense. Everyone has mobility. If you really want to go on the Zed, he could just, use his Living Shadows. And we saw one of those beautiful team fight that actually features that very moment. So I definitely want to eventually jump onto, those kind of scenes where we could actually elaborate that a little further. And loving what the casters say as well. You know, we finally bring out the silver scrapes for this game 5, but what else is left on the tank right now, realistically, for both teams? Because I think a lot of all these frontline support is already off the list. I mean, we had the Alistar, we had the Braum, we had the Rel in this game as well. So it's rather rough to actually figure out what the final draft is going to be like. So I definitely want to see what happens there on. But in this game itself, I think it's very straightforward. We've elaborated what really went down over onto many of all these kind of situations. And it just didn't seem like there was any form of a lead that can actually propel those members of IE up ahead in this matchup because they wanted to play the long game.
Yup, but it would be very interesting to discuss these matters and especially the silver scraps between IE and also FS talking about what kind of the last draft that they will pick with our casters Manamo and also Dropout Candy, because this is the only moment, the last chance that you have to win the LCP Wild Card Playoffs 2025 Grand Final. And talking about the available options of the tank, I would like to ask Manabo. I mean, Leona is still open, while Leona is still widely open, and lots of enchanters are also available on the lineups. But talking about an aggressive that can help your team or your draft to be set up, except Leona, what can we?
Yeah.
What is it that comes into your mind?
I think the gonna be one hot pick for me is Poppy, because Poppy is also a flex champion that can be shuffled into the top jungle, and also the utilities, the kit into disengage or maybe just to engage with his her keeper's verdict. So I think, and Nautilus also still open. There's still a lot of option actually in the support side, or maybe because Yuyusaki, we knew how he really good at enchanter support, and maybe he gonna keep playing the enchanter support.
Yeah, I would love to continue this discussion, but apparently we have to take a break for a while. So I just want to ask you guys to stay with us until we come back after the break. single Sabers on the live stream, and welcome to the last game of the Grand Final LCP Wild Card Playoffs 2025 with Abigail contra Manabo and Dropout Candy. And I know you guys are waiting for the silver scrapes, and there you go. You got your silver scrapes, and it's time for us to discuss what kind of draft or maybe what kind of meal that will be served towards us from IE and also Full Sense Contra.
Well, we're definitely expecting this to be another banger to really conclude it. I mean, now is the best time to whip out, whatever comfort picks that they still have that's being left in the tank. And on top of that, we talk about tanks as well. Maybe we might see even more tank options in the jungle as compared to the support, since there's a lot more enchanters on the list as compared to, all the Nautilus, all the Brahms have already been picked prior to this. So options for tanks down there isn't all too open, but I thought about a couple of things that could be beneficial. Like of course, we had discussions on things like the Lulu or even stuff like that. What about Maokai support? I mean, we've seen that in certain regions as well. And Manamo, you did brought out the Poppy, so I think these are still some of the couple of picks that is being left out in the open. And Elise is being banned because sometimes you do see Elise as a support as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm kind of afraid to see a Poppy is picked from each team, because the last time we saw Poppy on the draft, it's very easily countered by their opponent Dropout Candy.
Yeah, it's every time, man. Like, I feel like when we're talking about the draft picks now, it's not about how well the team is now synergizing around with each other. It's about getting a good lane early on and getting the counter pick. And I feel like that game 4 was just part of something greater for Full Sets, getting the counter pick and having that objective that, okay, we can just dominate the lane with a good counter pick against the opponent. And now we're headed to this last game. A lot of good picks. Pantheon is open. IE, you have to lock it in. Perfect. They got it in. Sorry. Glaze. I'm glazing.
Well, there's definitely a lot of excitement in your voice, because I know that this is still IE with their signature early tempo playstyle. But I talked about tanks coming in right through, and this might actually break walls, certain action from taking place coming from the side of Infinity Esports. And Sejuani is able to actually impact some of these lanes by just going in crash right through. And that Leona has yet to be picked up. You did brought it out earlier on, so you already see plenty of all these lockdown potential coming from Infinity Esports.
Yeah, but this combination between Leona and Pantheon actually is very team fight heavy, and they also have a very solid crowd control, Manamo.
Yeah, and the Leona Pantheon, we know the chain CC Grand Sorfall, the point and click stun, but again, in the sense of Full Sense, the Poppy that we talked earlier, plus the Sejuani, the passive, and also the counter-strike follow from Jax. Damn, this is a really good draft, especially for these two teams. They knew they need a CC, they need a crowd control, they need a team fighting power in the last game of this grand final of LCP Wild Card.
Yep, no Mommy LeBlanc from Full Sense towards IE. And for IE, now what they're lacking is the jungle and the mid lane control.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you are banning things like the Twisted Fate as well as LeBlanc. I mean, you get to actually impact the side lanes a little bit more with their swift plays as well as global ultimates. And you're also eliminating a lot of all these ADCs. I mean, they are dwindling down the pool. I was thinking about that Jinx that could be really strong to work together with the Poppy, and now it kind of defaults into this situation. Do you go for something like a Caitlyn for a little bit more of that safety net? And it might not actually matter too much, because when you take a look at the rest of Full Sense, they're actually having a lot of all these
Xayah
front lines. So this makes a lot more sense to have the best ADC that can basically have a little bit more safety net with Xayah.
And Xayah is having her debut during this LCP workout, and Xayah is also very a good pick, because Xayah, at the end of the day, her Thunderstorm is sort of like not only provide CCs but also make her independent to have an escape Manabo.
Yeah, I try to hold my breath after the Lux hover in for the mid lane, but it's Syndra, and Yeah, the Syndra is really good synergy again with the Pantheon, with the CC that she has. Also the team fighting power and the unleash power just to burst maybe the Saya later on, just to maybe to bait the Featherstorm. And I think the IE itself, the Jace for the poke combo, or the Aatrox for the sustainability, both of them are good, and the Aatrox will be the choice. And I think it's gonna lane better with the Jax. And also the last pick for Full Sense is the mid laner, and I see the Cassidy that I mentioned on the game
Oh.
4. Cassidy that I mentioned on the game 4 finally
Okay.
revealing itself. Ite, like, I won't give a prediction about this draft. I just want to see these two teams playing because this is the fearless draft on game 5 that we talked earlier, Contra.
Yeah, and you know, I just want to bring back this point where they are switching players as well. Crimson is the one that's going to be on this Syndra. I think like so far he's proven that he is very, very stable on the mid lane as a mate. So it is not going to be too easy of a game, but now with the Kassadin, it actually changes the ball game a little bit where he could actually maybe dodge out the stuns. And on top of that, I don't know too much about this Kassadin pick because pre-level 6 is really, really weak. So I think IE, they're going to send BTW onto that mid lane and just camp him out to oblivion.
I think
Yeah,
I want to reiterate too. Kassadin is only laning against one AP champion. There's not a lot of AP to benefit with his shield. So there's a little bit of trouble coming through once he gets later on in the game. But we can always rely on the Kassadin, right, Abigail?
That will be interesting though, but this is the very last game for both Inferno Esports and also Full Sense, so I'm gonna toss it to our casters. I know this is the last game of today, so make it hype, our casters. Take it away.
We're back, ladies and
We're
gents.
back.
Last game for LCP Wild Card Playoffs Grand Finals, and I can't believe that we're gonna end it in a 5-game stretch. Inferno Esports so hot right now, and for Full Sense, they seem to be having IE's answer now in game number 4, and they're looking to end their story here.
Yeah, and I think right now, if we saw in the game 4, Full Sense really capitalizing the early game such in a really well done manner, and I think in this game 5 IE could also do the same to Full Sense to make sure this Kassadin is delayed, because our IE of course don't want to see this Kassadin at level 16 at 3 items and just blowing your backline. So, and maybe IE got a chance, but Full Sense also, and this game 5 really is a 50-50 chance, I could say.
Yeah, but for IE now, they need to bounce back. This is their last chance. They were looking hot the entire way through. But for Full Sense, this is redemption now. They were second place in this group stage, and they're looking to be number 1 this entire tournament. Does the Philippines have it, or will Thailand shut them down at this very moment? One last showdown between these two teams for a spot at the LCP promotion in Taiwan. Let's see what happens this time. Take it away. Back once again. It's 2-2, and look how the sun settled. It is now dawn, and probably a little bit too early for us folks here in the sea region. Possibly early for you folks there. Manamu. I think it's around 10 or 11 for you guys. Oh, we're about to be 12 o'clock in our area. My goodness. And what a way to end it. A spot here for LCP. Promotion Series, and my goodness, what does it feel like? What will it mean for both of these players, man? It's a technically a best of one series here, boss man.
Yes, it's best of one series, and I'm glad we reached it into the game number 5 because it's showing that I think either of these two teams really deserve to represent our 5 region and showing their champion pools, their individual skill, and as a team how they play. And we're just gonna enjoy this game number 5 between Inferno Esports against Full Sense.
Full Sense, they have a lot of lockdown. Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. The Jax, again, the Sejuani as well as the push coming in from Poppy. Once the Poppy uses the ultimate, the hammer, there's the one less person to worry about for the fight when you're fighting against IE. LGW could have gotten the Jax early on, but there was so much leverage with that Pantheon pick. It was such an important pick for them to take, and it was a good 1-2 punch. Let's see if they can adjust here at this very time, because Poppy will be playing that support role, not that top lane. So not that much kill potential here, not much carry potential for the Poppy. As excellent, a Jax pick. Maybe he can go 1v9 here, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think just like Contra mentioned earlier, this jungle, the Pantheon and the Sejuani gonna have a big role, especially in this early game. We need a point and click Pantheon and maybe the layering Chen within her, and maybe Atrox, Syndra, or Leona can have a big impact in this early laning phase. And also the Sejuani can also giving a threat between these 3 lanes again, on the side of Full Sense. So we're gonna watch this jungle fighting a lot, Doc.
The jungle pathing is very important for these two guys. They know that they need as much presence in the lane as possible for these two guys. For this way in particular too, he needs to make use of his stun potential. It's one of the best champions in this patch at the moment. And if they can't leverage this, then unfortunately this might not be their chance to do it here for LCP. But for now, it's a bit of a very stalemate scenario. Just needs to secure a lot of the CS down. And yeah, we can see a lot of aggression coming through for the side of the bot lane. Austerity playing this Corki. Oh, very close though. Tries to go for the stun. Not getting any extra hits there. As Born This Way forced to go away. Sejuani out of position as they tried to at least try and gank for LGW, the top lane. But Scuttle's still alive and they're able to keep this trade perhaps. But look at Few. Behind you, brother. That's a little bit scary. The charge up in front. Born This Way still around the area though. If he does get the bait, this could be good, but nope. Respects the tempo. They'll back off.
Yeah, of course it's gonna really giving advantage to Inferno Esports because the flash has need to be committed by ET, and Kassadin still of course hasn't got the level 6 yet, no ultimate, but at both side.
Oh, Moops. Very low though. I think they're just gonna take this trade. They should not commit for this. Austerity is so low. No mana as well. Moops is the only one that could counteract this. But I don't think they should go. They have the aura coming in from UU. They should not let this slide. Oh, there's a Sejuani around the area. They should just not wait. This isn't their time now. Gets the charge up. Gets the shield. Get the stun. But there's not a lot of damage for them. Oh, are they gonna commit? The charge comes through. And I think that's first blood. They're not gonna commit furthermore as they bit off more than they can chew for IE. Full Sense. They start off the lead really strong there. Oh, Counter-Strike used. Okay. Bit of a outplay there for Inferno Esports, but for Full Sense, they get first blood. That's super important for them.
Yeah, and it's just Born This Way who stayed too long, and because the play earlier in the mid lane, he used his flash, so no means he can escape. And this is Leona and Corki that has been getting chunked a lot until low HP. No follow up from them, and Yu Saki because he got the Hex Flash, so it's just really easy to setting it up to kill this Pantheon and early lead getting killed, but of course the bright side, the IE is the kill is gone, the first blood is gone to the side of the Poppy.
Poppy. At least the Poppy's the one securing it outside of for full sense. If Inferno gave it to some like a carry or something, I think that the Kaisa would have had so much leverage from that. Scatter the weak. So Quill, Crimson, there's no flash available. This could be costly. But Born This Way still around the area, has level 6 here, forcing Born This Way to play a little bit more defensive. The R comes up, Scatter the weak. Is it strong enough? Not quite. And another kill. Force of Will doesn't go for it. Oh my goodness. Kasawin, you don't want to give any of these kills to the carries, but it's been going in the Sejuani in the Poppy's way, so I'd still think it's still worth, but they're counting their lucky stars right now for Inferno Esports, Manabo.
Yeah, and it seems like Full Sense knew what they did by giving IE this Pantheon. They really shut down this Pantheon. Born This Way can have a play with the Sejuani and Ite with his Reef Walk, and there's a keeper's verdict from Yuyusaki just to block the initiation from moves. And again, this Kassadin really managed to play with his Reef Walk, and of course Crimson already pull out the Scatter of the Week and the Unleash power, but no damage yet can be produced by the Syndra, and maybe a gang this time.
Oh, too much damage coming through. Where's the stun for the side of Born This Way? Does get one. Does he get a second kill? Of course he does. That's Born This Way. He's born to get the 2 kills. Double kill for the side of IE. In trade for austerity, they'll be back in the lane in time, so I'd say it's still worth it, but for Full Sense, they're keeping the pressure on. They don't want to be behind this game. Itai is the one taking the charge, and I think Blondie needs to carry as well. But Excellence, good job holding the stop lane, just making sure that LGW's gold lead not that far behind.
And again, because the kill has gone into Poppy, the Saya didn't get anything except the death and 2 assists, and Born This Way with the double kill. We talked about it earlier, how Full Sense can shut down this Pantheon, but with the double kill, he's come back online, he's back into this game and try to get the first Infernal Drake for the side of Inferno Esports.
Yeah, every time they get early Dragon here for Inferno, it seems like they're always at an advantage. But for Full Sense, they're going for the scaling game, but not quite in terms of the Dragon. In turn, they go for the Grubs instead. So 1 Drake traded for the Grubs. I feel like that's still a worth it trade for both teams, because Full Sense, they don't really have any push potential here. They'd rather just get the Void Grubs to try and get more pushing power later in this game.
Yeah, that's the point. And because the Void Grubs has been traded with the Infernal Drake from the side of Full Sense, maybe there's like a chance because they have the Kassadin. We knew how really strong the Reef Walk is just to wrap around, running around into this map through these 3 lanes. So maybe it's gonna sting into Inferno Esports later if they didn't have the control into this lane, into this Kassadin. But this is the replay of the play earlier. The Permafrost trying to shut down Born This Way, still haven't got the 6 yet. Crimson trying his best just to put out some damage into Ite. The Unleash power and Scatter of the Week just didn't have enough damage. And again, the Feats of Warfare, of course, it's gone to Full Sense, but we back.
Oh, not enough damage. Where's the... Oh, Grand Starfall gets the E down, and they're not letting Itai get away this time. Rift Walk on cooldown, Crimson gone. They'd rather just push the minions ahead and deny a lot of the CS, but they'll happily take that trade. It's still a tie ball game between the 2 sides, and it's looking like still a very competitive game. No one's giving an inch, and we're constantly fighting here, Manamu. This is League of Legends, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, and again, the downside of the Full Sense is the kill it goes through all these tanks, the Sejuani and the Poppy. Of course, the heart's still gonna be all unlocked for the Sejuani, but look at the side of the IE, 3 kills, all of them gone into the Pantheon. So the potential gang into this carry is gonna be really scared Full Sense a lot.
Oh, it's looking a little bit rough here, but I do believe that either team could flip the script if there is one big team fight coming through. Like Itai is currently countering Crimson at the moment, and Crimson's doing a good job just holding on. He has Rift Walk. He knows he could counteract a lot of the damage that Crimson's dealing in with just his passive, with just the Q. And with that, IE's just holding on through. Full Sense a bit ahead here in terms of vision as they currently cleared out the lower part of that dragon. Still a ways ahead before that next objective spawn. So a bit of some just a bit of some rest time here, Manamu, for the next couple of minutes as we need to talk about how well they're gonna go in. Oh my goodness, they're locking it down. Solar Eclipse. Oh, but they currently countered him down. Scatter the weak unleashed power gets him through. Is Born This Way still alive? Yes, he is. The rest of IE, they follow up. Is the Valkyrie enough to whirl out the chains? And yes, it does. Inferno looking mighty hot. A good double kill for them to boot, and they're getting a lot of objectives now throughout the way. Look at where Moves is staying. Crimson's still around the area. I don't think he's gonna get finished here, but good on the counteract. He wanted to get back into the game, and IE re-evaluated their situation. They know that Itai is the threat, and for now, let's take a look at this replay, man.
Yeah, moves really with a great solar player, Crimson with the damage, and even though there's Keeper's Verdict or Steadfast Presence actually from Yu Yu Saki to block the initiation from Born This Way, and the 3-man knock from this Poppy again. Even though it's 2 kills Poppy and 2 kills Sejuani, they didn't have the damage. And the 4-kill Pantheon with the Thunder Sky, and now the Syndra also finished his torch. And look at the damage that has been dealt and can be dealt by this Inferno Esports lineup. So that's the problem for the Full Sense.
It's a huge problem for Inferno Esports. Still, I mean, the gap still isn't that big enough to worry about, but you know how gold leads matter here in this series so far. Neither of these teams have ever come back from a gold deficit. So once someone starts leading up, it's gonna be a bloodbath. They're playing catch up again. And for the 50th time, I've been saying this, is so hard to get back into this game once the objectives start going in the other team's way.
Yeah, and Full Sense, they actually still has an option just to play it really slow. Road of Ages already been done for Ite, but again, there's still no damage at all, especially Essence Reaver on the hand of Blondie. They just need to scale, just need to slow down the tempo, but Inferno Esports won't give them a chance to slow down.
Oh, Grand Skyfall, they got the dragon, but at what cost? There's Born This Way still gone, and there's not a lot of people on this area. Austerity gone. There's the rocket, but how much are they gonna hold? They get the flip, and Full Sense, they secure the dragon. Double kill for the side of Blondie, and they're going a good job trying to stall them out. That Grand Starfall was so late to try and react back, and IE a little bit too late on the call. Keeper's Verdict so good just to isolate some of the members here for Inferno Esports.
Yeah, and I think it's really overzealous from Inferno Esports try to get through into the pit, trying to get some exit kill. And just as Doc said, it's a really late Grand Starfall, and they didn't expect there's 4 men there, and the Keeper's Verdict knocking the Syndra. There's no damage. Austerity coming in late into this game and to this team fight, and there's not much Crimson can do. The double kill had been secured to Blondie, and it starts getting dangerous for the side of the Inferno Esports.
Yeah, this is a flip now for both teams. Now we've tied up in the lead. No one has an advantage as of yet. Austerity playing that carry role a while ago that again was initiated by Blondie here. He did play that Ezreal a while ago. So this is a similar champion that was played here for now. Itai, not a threat at the moment as the rest of the FS squad, they go away. There is Rift Herald spawning, so they should try and time their backs correctly and try and go topside. There is still the Keeper's Verdict as well as a Steadfast Presence for Yu to use, so they'll be starting this Rift Herald first. You think they should react to this, or should they give this away, Madamo?
Yeah, I think it will be the best for Full Sense just to give it away, because one Rift Herald won't hurt, but they need still to setting up their base, they setting up the farm itself. because they Full Sense got the item, yes, but it's not their pick. As a Kassadin, you want to reach your 3 items. As Saya, at least you have 2 items. So yeah, it's really not worth it. The team fight earlier, Full Sense can really won because they have the man advantage. They have secure the objective, and it because the Inferno Esports already setting up the team fight for in the Reef Herald, so it's really not worth it for Full Sense to go there.
Not worth it as of yet, but they've worked this around for the first for the first strike here. Their mana move for a Full Sense leading the charge there in terms of the team fights. LGW still trying to look up here, way safely. And there's a lot of the presence coming through now for Full Sense. They're trying to group up together. They know they're stronger as a pack. And they're trying to avoid Inferno Esports from fighting that full 5v5. That's why the Poppy exists here. That Keeper's Verdict is really keeping them at bay. But if they can dodge the Keeper's Verdict at point blank, it feels like there's a chance for them to come back here.
Yeah, that's make be the point for Inferno Esports as well. They got the Reef Herald. They try to get the second charge in the bottom lane here, and there's no respawn for the side of Full Sense. Excellence might be try at least to stop the push for LGW, but this Reef Herald charge it cannot be denied, and the damage has been done to these structures. And LGW just playing with Excellence, who at this game number 5 looking a little bit passive.
Yeah, passive now because they know that LGW is trying to act as their pusher this time. They have the items necessary for it. I don't think he's going to build Hold Breaker though compared to that Fiora game from earlier. So LGW is doing his best just to hold this lane out. Still a minute left for this Dragon, and i.e. they need to have vision around the red area from Full Sense, because they know that once they start the Dragon, they're at a big disadvantage. They know that Full Sense is just they have advantage in terms of that Dragon control, and once that Keeper's Verdict's activate, they're basically in a 4v5 scenario. So they need to get back into this. They need to start getting wards now, or else they might have a very rude awakening when they have another fight like this again.
Yeah, it's really really packed team fight game in game number 5, but also at the same time it's really looking really slow because they the both teams knew they need to farm their items. They knew they need to reach the spike, and they knew this is their last chance to get into the LCP Promotion Series. So Full Sense, they trying their best to at least make this Kassadin online, and Saya getting the second item, and maybe this Ocean Drake maybe will be free for Inferno Esports.
Yeah, free Ocean Drake. They don't want to get a lot of the recovery for Inferno Esports, but well, at least the sole point for that Ocean Drake is pretty strong in terms of resetting the fights and just going back in again. So I don't think IE is misplay on the flash. Oopsie.
Oopsies.
Very crucial. That could have been a kill for Excellence, but instead he got hit the wall. He has to reset.
Yeah, and you can feel the pressure, Doc. Like a little bit mistakes, of minor mistakes that can cost the game. Maybe moves feeling that, and still, even though it's a mistake, it's still just a one minor opportunities. But if this goes on, it can be a crucial moves. Just need for him to find another angle for next engage. Maybe 30 seconds on this 30 seconds into the Atakan.
30 seconds left for that Atakan, and as you said, this is another chance for Full Sense to take another objective. But how well are they prepared here? There's barely any vision for any of these guys. Moves needs to start warding around the area now. This is their best time to do it, and I don't think this should be a priority for any of these teams. But getting an objective on the board, especially as an important objective like Atakan. Oh, come on. Why did you replay this? Come on.
Come
bruh.
on.
Sorry. Come on, bruh. It was a misplay, dude. My bad. Are they gonna start it? There's a ward around the Atakan, though, so I don't think this is ill-advised for Full Sense, Manamo.
Yeah, and I think Full Sense, at least they can just set up the Vision first, because I think they have the power, the Nefery, and the Malignance. for these two carries already reaching the spike, but also the IE from the Inferno Esports. They already have the second item, the Cosmic Drive for the Syndra, the Black Cleaver, and the Shojin into the Aatrox. So I think Inferno Esports have a choice just to counter if Full Sense gonna start, and I think Inferno Esports doesn't need to start the attack by themselves. Instead, they can just leave Full Sense to try to bait them into starting the attack, and Inferno Esports will respond.
Yeah, I think I think baiting out the objectives is the good choice here for the side of Inferno Esports. They got Full Sense at the back of their throats here. Tier 2 turret is already halfway through in that bottom lane, and there's still a full turret still up for the side of Inferno Esports. So there's a lot of safety nets if ever Inferno Esports get chased out by Full Sense here. So keeping them at a standstill, always keeping Full Sense guessing as to where they're gonna go next is crucial for the next couple of minutes, because you can see there's an Atakan plus a Dragon as well to spawn. So if they can get a decisive team fight, this could be a final drawback here. But Blondie's so low. Oh, he doesn't need to risk it. There's a Grand Skyfall right in front of their face. Forces Blondie to use the flash and gets away safely. There's a redemption from the back though. Does heal them for a full amount of HP. This should be calling out for a Atakan play here, perhaps.
Yeah, but the cost is massive for the side of IE. No flash into the Pantheon and the Corki. Of course, there's Blondie who doesn't have any safety net yet, but the trap.
Oh, they do connect. Where's the keeper's verdict? We're still looking at Yu here, but LGW is very aggressive, it seems. They back them off at the moment's notice. They want to stall them out still, just warding around the area, making sure that Full Sense has to give up a lot of the vision beforehand. Yu's kind of stuck though, Scatter the Weak. Put him in his place, Force of Will. Unleashed power, and he is down for the count. That's one less person down. They're 100% gonna go for this Atakan play.
Yeah, the initial play actually started by Austerity, trying to burst down Blondie, forcing him to use his ultimate, the Flash and Cleanse, and it really works. Full Sense trying to stay a little bit longer in the mid lane, and Born this way, finding another angle, followed up by Crimson with the perfect layering of the Chain CC and explosive damage, and the Atakan goes to the side of IE, and that's a team fight.
Yup, there's the shield coming through. Austerity needs to live here. There's a solar eclipse. He's trying to live as long as possible. There is the Zenith Blade, and Austerity still lives out, but at the cost of Born this way, there is a 1-to-1. There is a 1-for-0 trade. Full Sense still leading the pack here in terms of the kills. That's a huge shutdown for the side of Born this way. Scatter the Weak. Unleash Power. Shutdown now for the side of Yu, as Crimson secures the kill, and now he is currently ramping up.
In this game 5 moves, really showing what Leona can do, even though there's a dash in the side of the Sejuani, but Crimson is there. The 2-item spike really bring out the damage of the Syndra. And again, the trade, of course, really benefiting the Inferno Esports, the Atakan, even though Full Sense just try to get some consolation kill into the Born this way, but it's still not enough for the side of Full Sense.
Full Sense, they're looking on the back of the cliff right now. They not looking like that team that beat them in game number 4. Not decisive. They're still scaling up. Look at the gold lead. It's still a tie ball game. It's still anyone's game in terms of objectives though. IE still leading the charge, but the turret though, honestly gone. This Jack's looking like Fiora from game number 3, Manamo.
Yeah, Excellence looking or teaching LGW, and the Solar Flare has been dodged, and the side laning LGW cannot respond really well into these Jacks, but at the same time it's just really buying time for Full Sense, for Saya and the Kassadin just to scale until the late game.
Yeah, he only needs one more item before he can go 3 items, and that's what you said. That's his breakpoint. He needs to reach that 3-item mark, and they're making sure that this Baron might be a secure for them. They're gonna start it.
Yeah, IE forcing the issue here, knowing the Kassadin E-take.
Kassadin is so far out.
Recall. Yeah, he recalled into the base first, and the teleport is gonna be late, but IE does they gonna continue this? No, they just leave the Baron pit.
Oh no, another leave, and they're letting the Saya push here in the tier 2 turret. They have to chase him down. My goodness. In terms of macro, it seems to be IE is not in the correct position right now. Probably miscoms. They should have made it a little bit more decisive because Itai just went back. He's just going back to bot lane. He's gonna try in side lane.
Yeah, Ite actually got his Seraph yet, and no, he already finished Seraph and also pushing the bottom. And as you said, Saya get the tempo in the mid lane, and the teleport is there for Ite, and he right now doesn't need to recall back into the base to claim his item. He just can rejoin this team fight in the Baron pit. So I think he's starting it again, but there's a vision. They knew it has been started by Inferno Esports.
They know they're gonna start it, and Itai still not around the area, or still looking for the TP coming through. Moops still stalling around. He still has a lot of areas to stall, but instead it's a flip. Instead they have the TP out. Unleash power is gone. They try to go for the scatter blades, but surely enough, Blondie still on the back line. Oh, Excellent still trying to put him down to his place. Force of Will still up in front. Itai, the Rift Walk. It's looking like a castle win this time. Triple kill for the side of Itai as they look to secure some of the objectives around the map. That's a huge fight for Full Sense.
Level 16 Kassadin Castle Win is online with the 3 items and 8 spell disaster for the backline of Inferno Esports. They tried to bait Full Sense into thinking they're gonna finish the Baron. They pivoted into team fight, we can see in this replay, and they kind of missed Excellence flanking them. The Keeper's Verdict is good, the teleportation a little bit late from Ite, but that's what heroes did. Coming in late to save the day, and look at Ite. There's no one who can touch this Kassadin, dealing some huge damage into these carries. There's triple kill and there's a shutdown actually for Austerity, but this Kassadin, even though it's only 600 gold lead in the mid lane, but the damage is really high different.
Yeah, it's they're putting all their baskets into Itai, and the only thing that could counteract Itai here is if everyone pulls all of their stuns into Itai. But the Rift Walk is such a obnoxious still to worry about. Empowers all of your damage. The next mana onward for the next activated ability, and it works every time. It works like a charm in LGW. Looks to be stuck in the wrong position this time. Unstoppable for Itai. And they're looking to go for the top turret. They need to go back.
Yeah, they need to go back because this top lane is no longer belonging to this world with the Demolish procs from Excellence. And look at the board, Born This Way and also they really late into this back end. Full Sense gonna be happy with this one set of inhibitor in the top lane, and they just gonna can't pivot it into the Baron take.
Oh, they're pivoting. This is the perfect scenario for Full Sense. They're locked in and ready. I.e., they were desperately looking to hold against Itai, but scaling up probably was not the answer here. They saw the vision, it's coming through. They have to force this Grand Starfall through. Do they have the Keeper's Verdict? Nope, it unfortunately gets missed out. Born This Way still around the area. Do they force the fight? Yes, they do. There's a Keeper's. Oh, they still back away. They reset for the Baron. But Full Sense, they're out of position. They're looking for the Featherstorm. They're looking to get the entrance in. Itai, they got locked down. That's going for the fight.
What?
Itai is gone. Full Sense, they're gone. Most of the players are gone, and they're looking like a valiant effort has been brought through. And Full Sense, they're looking to back away, but Moops is trying to play fiddle here. They're looking to go for the base race.
Really, Full Sense, they saw the chance, but Grand Starfall Mike, we stopped Blondie, just tried to do his best because they knew this Saya doesn't belong into this world. But actually, it's IE. They tried to push it to Anne in the mid lane.
No, they can't win. Not like this. 10 seconds left before UU spawns. This is not against their will, but Excellence trying to go for the hero play. He gets shut down. There's the stasis. Where's UU around the area? He gets shut down as well. Austerity getting the slain. It's still a tie ball game. And look at the objectives. We got the Dragon available for Inferno Esports. Both teams are playing, flipping the script the entire time. And it looks like IE has been giving them this golden ticket of opportunity to try to steal this game underneath Full Sense's boots.
Yes, Full Sense. in the last team fight, Ite, the last person you want to death in the first team fight, really trying to punish Born this way.
Look at the lockdown.
And look at the lockdown. Ite, your job is to finishing the backline, but trying to punish the jungler, trying to finish the Baron, cost them a lot. And by I mean a lot is really a lot. And of course, there's a hero play by Excellence, just try to finish to clear up this wave minion. Still, there's a chance for Full Sense. They keep scaling infinitely, but look at the Ocean Soul in this IE's pocket. It's gonna be really helpful in this team fight.
This is dangerous for Full Sense. They're looking for prey here, but it looks to be another lockdown in terms of Few. He needs somehow, some way, a chance to get out. Here comes the Featherstorm. They get rooted up. Keeper's Verdict takes 2. They're looking to bounce back and go back in the fight here, but they go back and no one gets damaged up. This is perfect for them. Do they want to go for the Baron or do they hold it up? Look at the top lane. There's so much minions there. Do they try to go for the base race?
Yeah, Etal actually gets the teleportation. They try to force the Baron. Is this the classic Baron for Nexus? Because looking at the Full Sense, they didn't want to force it into the top side, and the Baron has been slayed by the Inferno Esports. And I think that's a wise choice from Full Sense, because they knew they cannot flip it into the push into the top lane, and they cannot force anything at the state of the time.
This is do or die for these two teams. Look at the state of the map right now. Full Sense still has 3 towers on the top lane, but this mid lane is utterly destroyed. They cannot rotate around that area anymore, and Full Sense, they have nowhere to go except the top lane. That's the only objective they need to start pushing for the side of IE, because they know that's the only lane that's currently been taken down by the likes of Full Sense. Look at the state, my god. IE is looking like the team that might be able to reach it, but I can't say for sure because Full Sense, they still have Vitae here with this Kassadin. He wants to get that Zhonya's available for them for the next fight.
Yeah, both of these teams just need one team fight, one momentum. And just like you said, Doc, Ite is still here. If he can get an access into this backline, into Crimson and Austerity, there might be a chance into the side of Full Sense. But IE looking really dangerous. World Ender and Grand
Starfall up in front. Look at the back. Look at the Kassadin. He's currently trying and attempting a base race. Really? Itai is looking to try and end the game. There's a Baron that you have to watch out for. Look at Itai. He's looking like he's... Oh, the inhib spawned. And LGW is the one stopping him right now. The stun up in front. Solar Eclipse initiating everything down. There's the Ocean Soul. The healing comes through. Does Excellence go down? Yes, he will. There's a TP up in front and it's all left to Ite and Yu Yu Uzaki. Does the Kassadin cast a win for his team? I don't think so. Up in front, up in flames, Inferno Esports, they're looking to be your champs for the LCP Wild Card. Iwaga Iway, ang watawat ng Pilipinas. Inferno Esports, they get into the LCP Promotion.
The tragedy has come into the Full Sense. The inhibitors say not this time. They're on Inferno Esports side as they become the LCP Wildcard winners and will be our representatives of these 5 regions coming into LCP Promotion Series. Doc, I believe it will be your biggest joy this night, having your country representing of us 5 regions.
I can't believe it, man. After that Game 5 series, you know, it was honestly a 50-50 still. Like, Itai was still holding all of his egg cartons all together, but it all fell into place at that one decisive team fight. You saw that in him spawn, I knew it was fate at that very moment, Manabu.
Wow, it really, I think that's the best chance that Full Sense can get. If the inhib didn't spawn, I think there's still a big chance that Full Sense can finish the game, but the inhibitor says no. And yeah, the Ocean Soul, just like you mentioned, is really huge on IE. And yeah, let's ask Abigail and Contra about this winning from Inferno Esports. Abigail and Contra, take it away.
Thank you so much for our casters for that wonderful game.
Wow.
And thank you so much for IE and also for FS for brought out such a beautiful match. I mean, I'm just gonna spoiler it for you all. So we have MVP, but I will personally give honorable mention, aka the second MVP, to Minions, the sixth player from both sides. Oh my god! I mean, you actually could not end the game without Minion control.
I mean, there's just so many setups out there. I think like there's just so much going on in this series, and it all boils down to this perfect way to actually end the game. So there, you saw there's a potential base race going on, which is why like they're going in for all these heavy setups. And just like what Manamo mentioned, I mean, they've already breached through the top lane as the Jacks have been able to create a big hole up there. So they needed somebody to actually guard, you know, like the top side to clear out the minion waves, and on top of that, that inhib is already up. So that definitely puts a little bit more of the pressure back onto the side of Full Sense to handle that fight, because they have two TPs online. Ite was already down at the bottom, so they needed the top laner to also join right in, but he can't afford to leave, because if they do, they will lose out that fight. So what they did was go in for that 50-50. So Few, Blondie, as well as Yusaki, they need to stay irregardless. It's really down to whether if they can keep Excellence hands-free. And you know what they did? LJW went back to base and saved the day as well. So they denied that, and now the rest of Full Sense lost out because they were overwhelmed with those numbers. You can say, yeah, there was that mid lane wave, but that the fights over onto the Baron is what really mattered the most. On top of what was also mentioned early on, because all those dragons actually went over on the side of Inferno, that Ocean Soul being denied is so huge. Imagine if Full Sense actually had that, then they will be pretty much too beefy to be even considered for a form of team fight for the side of Inferno to take. So there's just so many things that need to fall right into place. So I think Ite definitely did very well in one or two of these skirmishes, but that challenge for that Baron, there was one point where LJW actually clipped them all with the World Ender on top of all these multiple Q procs on top. So I gotta like really dive right into all these actions. I mean, yeah, where do we begin? Okay, we started off over the bottom side where we've seen a lot of all these proactive plays coming from Few, and from that point onwards, they got Blondie ahead. They've also had the pickoff over onto Born This Way, so it kind of makes things a little bit hard. But then again, the rest of Inferno, they triumphed, they fought back, and it was so much of a back and forth. A lot of the early game, it was a lot to do with Few's proactive plays in order to put them up ahead. So Born This Way, they come back in for a little bit more, and because they found a little bit more leeway, it does at least supplement onto, you know, that bleeding bottom lane. And Born This Way, he got that double kill, and then that basically propels him so much further ahead. This is one of the few early fights where we actually get to see the members of IE call the shots, because you got to punish Ite very early on before this Kassadin actually snowball a hit, burns his flash, burns everything else, and you saw this first rate went over the side of Full Sense because they were a little late to the scene. We saw that Grand Starfall actually dropped in a little bit late, so it was an easy task for the rest of Full Sense to be able to capitalize, and it looked like it was steamrolling, right? But it wasn't exactly the case. They've been able to really hold firm, all thanks to, you know, Crimson with all these great stuns being channeled up ahead. And I think this was one of the big moments, right? So I think this is the time to break it down. So all these members, they've been able to have this TP going through. So you have this perfect angle. And the rest of them have been put over on the choke point. With them trying to take a little bit more of a cheeky approach to bait a Baron, some of the members of IE has already fallen low, such as Moops as well as LJW. So this one actually played out really well for those members of Full Sense to be able to really turn the tides around. And take a look at this. That flank coming in from the back was just excellently done over onto that course. So Full Sense, this was basically their ticket to really stabilize, but once again, it was also the Baron call that kind of set them into a really tricky spot. So once more, look at this. All of them trapped into LJW's angle, and there's just no escaping. Yu Usaki as well as Blondie was also so far away. So the rest of these members of IE, they could just go in for the full collateral, and hence why IE, they've been able to eliminate so many of all these threats in those massive team fights.
Yup, and that leaves a moment where a Full Sense needs to hold their best really, really hard, and the base race is just begun.
Yeah, this was the first moment where they are just trying to buy time so that they cannot puncture through to the Nexus of turrets. And then this was the other play where we gotta pause this, right? Because the next thing I really want to highlight right now is over onto the mini-map. Ite, he was already there. So we needed excellence to also TP right in. So watch what happens here. I mean, we got the flank coming in for Hugh to try to actually go towards those members of IE, but the plans kind of backfired because LJW can actually come right back into it, or he could also move towards this direction as well. So it wasn't an easy fight for them to take. So Excellence will really have to make a very big decision. Does he actually go in to commit to the fight, or does he actually join in and watch how this actually plays out? So what happens here is that we go through with the Aatrox being spotted out, and then he TPs back into the base just to save the day. So you already got the Aatrox back. I gotta pause it right here for a second. So right now, with the Aatrox back in the base, there's just no way that they will be able to win this fight. You've already got all the members pretty much set into place, and therefore it's GG. I mean, oh, well, I gotta delete all of this. I mean, it was the very final nail in the coffin for those members of Full Sense and Infinity Esports. They are now your champions of the LCP Wildcards. Well, this was my job of being an analyst for the very last time for this tournament, and I really do hope that we get to see the members of Infinity Esports represent our region well. So all the best to them in the upcoming promotions against the very best of the APAC.
Yes, and we also had some of debates about who's the MVP, because we are debating if it's LJW or Born This Way, but during the last game, Born This Way indeed showed us the consistency and also the very proactive playstyle that actually gave a lot of impacts towards his team.
He definitely did. I mean, Born This Way, so far, he has always had that high level thinking on who really to target first, and he's the one to really set the tone on how Inferno Esports play. So I definitely think that this is well deserving. You take a look at the KP as well. He's always involved in majority of all these fights, and he's always supplementing onto his carries to see whether if he wants to get the mid lane or even excellence, a little bit more that steady pace to move beyond and take over control. And I think that Born This Way, he's definitely in the making to be the next jungle superstar.
Yep. And indeed, he is very strong. And I mean, not only Born This Way, I also see that Inferno Esports has lots of thing under their sleeves, because not only one individuals that actually shining, but they also have very good chemistry and also synergy towards each other. And let's welcome our casters to join our discussion, Manamo and also Drop Out Candy, because this is going to be a very solid moment for the Philippines, aka Dropout Candice region, because after a long 4 days and long 5 games of today's grand final, fearlessly fighting for a slot in LCP promotion and relegation to become a part of something bigger. Finally, Inferno Esports proudly stepped on the winner's podium and left their names as the winner of LCP Wild Card 2025. Dropout Candy, how do you feel?
Man, it feels great.
It feels great as well for me. I mean, we got 2 Malaysians in the squad as well. I mean,
Yeah!
brother, we won!
Yeah, we got a handshake coming
Hey,
through.
fist bump, my guy.
Yeah, fist. Where's the other side? Other side. Bang.
Yeah.
It's so nice having Inferno have this collab, right? Malaysia and PH, right? Huge shout outs to everyone in Inferno Esports supporting this team from the start, right? And eventually beyond. This is the first step of something new. I'm so glad Austerity has taken the next step in his league career. Bro, he is so young. He's 19 years old, man. Brother, he is so young. He has so much in him too. And if he keeps performing like this, there is a lot of fanfare to be waiting for him. But for the rest of the team, LGW, I'll talk about them one by one. Why not? LGW got that goated Fiora game. You already know. Very consistent on that top lane, but he was holding it down the entire time. Props to him. Born this way, my goodness. If it weren't for him, I don't know what would have happened for Inferno, man. Always the consistency, man. Always there when they needed him the most. Even when he's behind, he's always trying to go for play. Crimson and Celeste, you already know how they perform. Always the 1-2 punch in the sub. I can't believe Celeste played in all of the series too as well with Crimson. Austerity, you already know. I don't wanna glaze him even further. Moops though, yeah, he's the GOAT. You already know. So many times. There's even a highlight I think in the league page where they highlight a lot of his hooks. This time on a signature pick, Leona. I wasn't gonna say that a while ago, but I'm gonna say it now. Leona was his signature pick.
Hats off to him, man.
Hats off to him. So good, man. I can't wait to see what Inferno has in store them. Sa amin, for us, we say paldo. Sa amin na,
Paldo.
we got the bag. We got the bag, and it's time for us to do something greater here in our region. We're going to LCP Promotion.
Woo!
Yeah!
Let's go!
Let's go! And I would like to add something. After the Dropout Candy, say lots of happiness towards the Inferno Esports as the representative of LCP Wild Card Playoffs winner. I believe the rest regions, whether it's HG and Malaysia, South Asia, and Indonesia, and also Thailand, will be also supporting Inferno Esports on the LCP promotion and relegation. And we will also wish all the best for Inferno Esports promotion as well as the performance, and hopefully this is going to be the very start of the rise of Southeast Asia and also South Asia region. That will be amazing, Manamo.
Yeah, it's really, we just looking at our region, like it's the beginning. We started really slow. There's in Indonesia, South Asia, also Thailand, and MYSG, and now the Philippines gonna be our representative. So we really wishing a lot of success, of course, for Inferno Esports, and hopefully it will be a start for our region.
Yeah, to prepare for LCP promotion and relegation, I believe this is going to be a very hard work for Inferno Esports too, because not only the proud of the country, but also the proud of Southeast Asia as well as the South Asia region, because this is going to be the very start of the chapter of our regions to become a part of something bigger, which is LCP. And it's been 4 amazing days with you all, from talents, productions, and especially audiences. Thank you so much for making this LCP Wild Card Playoffs 2025 a blast. And we will signing out now. So have a good night, guys. See you on the next event.